Okay, so this morning I took the bus into the city with my uncle. Got to see his work a little bit, and there's actually underground walking tunnels in Houston that you can get all around with.
Always keep a bag of heat, girl, I'm smoking as I please. Bitch, I do what I want, can't nobody say a thing.
There's people getting their hair cut underground in here. Cafes and stuff.
Niggas don't want war.
It's just this little maze. It literally goes all under this shit. So all the stuff that is behind me, all these giant buildings, you can actually walk under the ground and walk from building to building. Okay, so now there's starting to be some more people, but I literally just walked into one of these big glass buildings, and then once you go downstairs, you're underground. See, there's the Starbucks that I got earlier, and then it's literally an underground system. So it looks like a metro, but you just walk down here. It's literally like a maze, and you can walk all throughout the city underground. It's like an entire metro system. So that's fucking cool. I've never actually even seen that in America before. I know in Taiwan, they kind of have that. Like, you get out of the metro, if you want, you just walk underground. You could get to shopping malls and shit. So that's a fantastic system. And I always thought that Denver was a little bigger than it is, but as I visit like Atlanta and Houston, I'm realizing that Denver's just like a nice, cozy, tiny little city, because there's some big fucking cities out here with a lot of motherfuckers, and the infrastructure here is actually amazing. So it's kind of cool seeing a city that's handling it well and actually implementing new shit. From what my uncle's been saying, it's like a lot of these companies, even the big corporate ones, are trying completely new schedules, trying to give more time off, and it's just cool to see something that's progressing. Houston, shout outs, very cool city. While I've been here for about a week or so, we've just been staying in the suburbs. Like, we haven't gotten out, just staying with the family, chilling. And actually the only times we would be able to smoke is when everyone went to sleep. So I have mad respect for my uncle. I love my family, but there's still like, guys, don't smoke weed, you don't need to. And we're like, oh, okay. And we wait for everyone to go to sleep. It's like 4 a.m. We have to disable the alarm system. So it's like, we're like tiptoeing in the dark, hit the alarm system. It's like, alarm, disarmed. And then it's like, everyone can hear it. But then we go into the car, hotbox it at night. It's been a good time. So I gotta cross this. There's been a lot of unreleased stuff. It's gonna be out of order because it's already shot, but you know, it's 2020, it's a new year, and I'm gonna be putting out a hell of a lot more than I have been. So you can look forward to that. It's been a good month. December has all been running around. The month started off in California. I went to see my uncle for Thanksgiving. We fixed up the car, drove 1,000 miles. Then, as soon as I got back, worked a shift at Starbucks, and then flew out to Atlanta.
I ain't no snitch, cops don't trust me.
We managed to keep the trip under $100 and met a couple new prospects, which was really cool. Because now in current time, I'm actually gonna go to Atlanta, and then we'll be able to link up with the people that we met during that time. And then I went to Fargo, my hometown.
We were still hanging out and stuff, but you're doing more so of the videography thing. And I had found like weed too. And
Before anyone.
yeah.
Like, there was like less than 10 weed tubers, right? Like, what would you say?
Dude.
Like,
And I was like, Tim could fucking do like 2 in hand. Like, I knew he wanted to keep doing weed shit, but like you wanted to keep doing your video shit. I was like, dude, you should fucking go with this. And I showed you, and I didn't really think that you were gonna take off with it at first. Like, honestly, thought you brushed it off. But then when I saw like the first video and shit, and like I was just checking out the channel, I was like, holy fuck, this dude means it.
so for a few years, I've been going hard at Stoned Alone, and I literally had not seen any of my original friends. I hadn't seen my hometown at all, so I was glad to be able to make a trip. but then it was so goddamn cold that I actually caught a fever, and I was just in bed for the whole time. I was there to see Jan, and that's who I was staying with.
Wanna do bad things, baby, show, don't tell.
So that was incredible. I got to meet his family for the first time, which I actually hadn't done while living there. So that was awesome. Stayed with his family. His mom was like the dopest person ever. She kept me healthy and fed, which helped the sickness. And then we stopped by Minneapolis, which is where he's living at.
I've been feeling off, what's new? Guess I never saw what's true. I don't wanna try to make things right. I just wanna hold hands tonight. I've been feeling off, what's new?
I came back down to Denver, had a couple days, actually caught strep throat.
God, bro, you have strep throat, fuck.
Which was a pain in the ass, and I was like even too broke, and then drove all the way down here to Texas, met up with my brother. We stopped by Austin first before Houston, and we had a grand old time. Basically, we just chiefed blunts the entire way, and our Airbnb host was super chill. Like, we were just staying at his place in one of the rooms, and he ended up hooking us up with bud, so we were just chiefing that whole time. And he had this adorable dog who coincidentally was also named Tim, so, you know, I got along with him really well.
Hey, buddy.
Across the street. Basically, that was good. And then we stopped by a barbecue, Salt Lick, and it was all you can eat. So we stayed there for 5 hours. Go. And took turns going to the car, chiefing up, literally taking naps so that we would get hungry enough to go back. And we just ate barbecue for 5 fucking hours straight. Also stopped by a Home Slice Pizza, which is one of my favorite places. I was able to visit Austin in 2014 because my dad was, you know, really cool, and I told him about RTX. It was this convention that some YouTubers put on, and he was like, fuck it, yeah, let's go. And we drove all the way down there. It was like a 24-hour drive from Fargo, so I always had that in my mind. I always loved Austin, and I always wanted to go back, so I was really glad to be able to do that this time around. And then shortly afterwards, we drove into Houston for Christmas, and that's where I've been since.
1300.
Yeah, oh, and then there's this like triangle building here. This is like really cool. Oh man, that actually looks really cool. I didn't even notice those steam things up there. Family to me is really tight, and I'm not always able to see them as often as I'd like to, but for me, and from just being from an Asian background, you know, family is everything. Like, it is serious. So, you know, it was really good to see them, and we had a lot of good talks. Like, we really dig into it, and my uncle is super supportive of the channel. I brought my car into the mechanic yesterday. They said it's fucked. It needs like $1,500 of repairs and new tires on top of that. So that's the new situation I'm dealing with, and I'm absolutely broke with no monies. But, you know, that's life. It'll throw a curveball at your ass, so I gotta figure that out. That's life. And the next thing is gonna be Atlanta. Because of the car situation, I'm gonna have to fix it, and I'm gonna drive back to Denver because it's a shorter drive, and then I'll fly from Denver to Atlanta. Whereas the old plan was I was just gonna drive to Atlanta, but whatever. I mean, it's still gonna work out. There's super cheap flights through Frontier, obviously. I'm also starting a Chinese-only channel called Peace Panda.
我通常只是会跟家庭讲，连这样子是很容易混英文，很容易也没有学到新的字，所以这是为什么我在做。
You might be like, what the hell, Tim? You're not even keeping up the channels that you already have. Why are you starting a whole other channel in Chinese? And that's because I have a gut feeling, all right? So look forward to that. I've been talking mad shit. I've been having mad plans, grandiose ideas, but now is the time to actually execute and put these actions into motion. So this next year is gonna be dope. It's
gonna be a lot of content, a lot of videos, a lot of new things. I look forward to it. No idea what the fuck this holds, but we're gonna figure that out. All right, so I'll see you around. I gotta hop into these tunnels real quick, figure this out. So I'll see you.